Hey there, this is Wythe Marshall from the Stillfleet Studio. We put together a little podcast called Why We Roll, and now we're very proud to be part of the network Podderation. So if you're listening to one of Podderation's other great shows, and you're interested in TTRPGs specifically, that's tabletop role-playing games, you might be interested in our show. Why We Roll is all about how you make TTRPGs, what makes them fun, different kinds of stories you can tell with TTRPGs, and even the business, so the practical advice side. So if any of that sounds appealing, whether you're a GM, you want to design your homebrew game, or you're interested in getting in the industry, why don't you head over to Why We Roll, check us out. We really, really appreciate it, and keep making awesome stuff.
Welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous, the podcast where everyone is welcome at the table, but of course, as always, especially at PAX Unplugged 2025, no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
Hey, this is Anthony.
And this is episode 555, PAX Unplugged Hotness. We'd like to thank all our Patreon backers for helping us bring you a brand new episode. Hey friends, we're so glad to have you back here for this episode. And Anthony's here for this episode, but my voice is in fact not here for this episode.
Oh my gosh, some part of Chris is missing the first episode ever.
I know. It's here, but in far off land. Anthony, that was called PAX Unplugged in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Can I go downtown and look for it?
You should go find it. It's probably pretty lost at this point.
Yeah, it's somewhere downtown. I'll find it for you.
See, the thing is, I talked to everyone, Anthony, and then just like our opening, I got lost, man. I just was like, I wasn't sure. It's like, are we still doing this? Like, you know. So probably somewhere out there, my voice is still talking to several other people at the convention center who are very confused why I'm talking to board games, and they're like, "Yeah, buddy, those things left. They're not here anymore." It's like,
yeah, this is a big empty room.
It is a big empty room.
Preparing for some dentists or something.
Isn't that weird? It's weird, right?
It is weird. Because my only experience with convention centers is either Comic-Cons or board game conventions. And then occasionally I walk by it and it's like the North American Chiropractic Association. I'm like, what? Gross.
And this year was Runners.
Runners, yeah. Yes, we did have the marathon overlapping, which didn't really affect anything, except my son tried to come down and meet us, and he was like an hour late because the bus did some weird stuff. And Will had to walk halfway across the city because all the roads were closed and he couldn't get an Uber. But otherwise, it was fine. I don't even think it was necessarily that much more crowded in the area.
To be fair, we exacted our revenge with holding up elevators for runners.
Yes.
That did happen, and surprisingly enough, they didn't take the stairs, which is weird because they're
What
runners.
are you doing, guys? Just run up to the 20th floor. It's no big deal.
It's not a big deal, not for them at least. For us, yes.
I mean, it's a huge deal for us. We're taking the elevator.
We're 100% taking the elevator.
Board game convention.
I know. We're carrying board games. We need elevators, people.
Oh man.
Yeah. So PAX Unplugged 2025, Philadelphia. As always, a wonderful time that was had by everybody there. So much so, again, that my voice decided to stay around and hang out a little bit longer. Anthony, you had a good time as well, correct?
I had a great time. Yes.
Yay!
Famously, I live here, but also famously, I often don't get to spend as much time here because I do live here. So when you commute to a convention, often it means less time at the convention playing games. But this time I stayed downtown because of the marathon, and I had a blast. So got to hang out late, play a lot of games, had wonderful meals with so many amazing people, got to meet like dozens of people, but also interact with just hundreds more that we've met in the past, and had a chance to just check everything out. So like I mentioned, my son came down on Sunday. We get to play a bunch of games, do his traditional like multi run through the Soda line, with the mug I got him a few years ago.
Aw.
It's great. Yeah, PAX is one of my favorite things just all year, and this year was a good year.
It was a very good year. The weather generally held out.
Yeah.
Which was nice. It did push people a little bit around because of the marathon, but everyone had a really good time. I'm not sure what the final numbers are, but I think the day after they released when PAX is happening next year, and it's back to December, right?
Yeah, back to the normal time. We did hear from somebody with a little bit of inside knowledge that this last year was because they waited too long to confirm. I don't know why they waited longer than normal, but they did, and we got kind of the weekend before Thanksgiving, which, as we've learned, not a lot of people are super happy with.
Sure.
I was happy because I'm busy the weekend that it normally is, and I wouldn't have been able to come at all. But everybody having to travel and then go home and then travel again, I'm sure it's a little frustrating. But yeah, back to the normal time next year, which is I think the 4th to the 6th,
which is better. I'm going to say it's better.
It is better for sure. Yeah,
I think so. And the holidays are just gearing up, and there's just a lot of cool stuff happening around, and it has that more of that chill kind of vibe of like it's the holiday season, purchasing things, staying inside. This is probably a better vibe to go along with.
Yeah, the city lights the tree that Thursday, so like the first day of the con, everything's up and running and beautiful and colorful. So city hall's all lit up.
It's true.
Yeah, one of the more impressive city halls in the country. If you haven't seen Philadelphia City Hall, it's really nice.
Oh yeah,
it's this beautiful old building, and you can kind of go into the center courtyard, which this time of the year has a carousel and like hot chocolate and mulled wine. So again, if you've never been to Philly, especially for PAX, definitely check it out.
You should. It's definitely a good time to go, and everything's really like the most festive, I think, that time of year.
Yeah,
yeah. Cool. Yeah, and a lot of our friends were there. Our friends Chris and Aaron from Board Games for the Better. Our game master Dave was there, and obviously our good friends Will and Megan were there as well.
Yep. Yeah, representatives from like all across the BGA board. At one point, we were interacting at one booth. We're like, hey, we got like 8 board members here.
We did.
So no, it was a lot of fun, and this is the other reason I really love PAX. Like, I'm in Philly, you're in New York, Will and Megan are in Baltimore.
Yeah,
we're all very close.
Sure.
Dave's in Long Island, and so everybody kind of convenes. It's not like you go to the Midwest, not everybody can afford or has time to go all the way to Indiana or Ohio, but
sure,
Philly, it's like a 2-hour drive for everybody. So it's perfect.
It's a good spot, very good spot. Yeah,
yeah,
it was a lot of fun, a lot of good people. We got to meet 2 of our listeners out there as we were waiting in line, which was great. I don't want to drop their names because they did not say if we could or couldn't. So our 2 good friends from Morris, New Jersey. I'll leave it there. Morristown, Morris County, New Jersey.
Yeah. In the Trader Joe's line.
You're revealing detailed information of our.
Oh, sure. Yeah, people will be able to track them down by that.
They
Trader
might know
Joe's
them.
Directly across the street from the convention center.
Which
but
is awesome.
It's always fun when you're just like standing and having a conversation and someone recognizes your voice and you forget that we do a podcast.
It's
you're
true.
Like, how do you know who I am? Right, because there are literally thousands of hours of my voice on the internet. So
it is true. It is true.
No, it was great. It was great getting to meet you all, and hope you had a good con.
Absolutely. You 2 were wonderful. And again, thanks for the little shout out. So we wanted to return the shout out with a shout out. So
shouting out.
We're shouting out.
As much as you can.
Yeah, follow up with us and we'll shout out a little bit more. So if you got a chance to go to PAX Unplugged, hopefully you had the most wonderful time in the world. Hopefully we got to see you or walk past you and say random things that you recognized.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony, there were some things at the convention there, and they were called tabletop games.
What? Games? Where?
They were everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
We were surrounded by a lot of games, to say the least.
We were surrounded by a lot of games. Yeah. PAX Unplugged, obviously, the second largest board game convention in North America. So thousands and thousands and thousands of games spread across, I don't know, like 4 or 5 football fields. I can't measure the space, but
it's a lot.
So many games. So yeah, we got a chance to check out a lot of new games that were released at the con or close to the con, as well as preview a bunch of stuff that's coming next year. So that'll be fun to talk about.
Yes. A lot of good times. And if you haven't been, you should definitely go next time. All right, Anthony, with that said, let's talk about little things that we're doing on the BGA side and let people know the state of play with BGA.
All right. Yeah. So we mentioned this a little bit a while ago. We are in full tilt mode preparing for our spring conference.
Yay!
Tabletop Scholars.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
So
Who, what, where, when, why?
What? Why? Exactly.
Yeah, all the W's I learned from way back when in journalism school, or
there you go.
K through 12, as we were taught it.
The Tabletop Scholars Conference, Connecting Play with Purpose. This is taking place April 17th to the 19th with an optional April 16th pre-conference day. Once again at the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, which we had an amazing time at back in October for our journal conference. This conference is a little bit different. This conference is designed to bring together practitioners in a variety of fields. So education, K-12 and higher ed, mental health, healthcare, community engagement, corporate training, creative fields, all across the spectrum of professional life, specifically to explore how commercially published tabletop games can influence the learning and the practice and the work and engagement done in those fields. So everybody's going to gather together in April for over 3 days and evaluate commercially available games. These are games that are going to be nominated by professionals, publishers, and listeners like you.
What?
Basically to determine if they qualify for BGA accreditation. And accreditation is going to go to games that show that they have valuable tabletop play experience in those professional fields based on the ratings of the professionals. So,
got it.
How can you get involved if you're listening to this? One of two ways. One, if you have a game that you use professionally that you think we should evaluate, go to boardgameacademics.com/tabletop-scholars-2026 and nominate that game. There's a nomination form there. We just need a couple pieces of information. You submit the nomination. It will be evaluated by our team of experts on the selection committee. And if selected, will be featured at the convention in the conference in April. Two, if you want to attend, if you are in a professional field and you use games and feel like that you can offer observations and analysis of those games, you can apply to attend. So if to do that, you again go to the same page, click on the apply to attend link, and you will be asked to register for an account on boardgameacademics.com. We ask for a few pieces of information to verify that you exist as a human and that are in fact a professional in your field. And once approved, you'll receive access to the membership area where registration information will be posted in January. So we'll be sending out invitations to all of the registered tabletop scholars, which is what you will become if you apply to attend and are accepted in January, and welcoming all of you to the conference in April to evaluate these games. So it is an academic conference, but it's also a board game conference where you get to play games for 3 days, and that's going to be super fun. So there'll be a nice mix of professional development and discussion and networking, and a chance to play new and developing games that fit all these different fields, and have your voice heard in how those games will be used in other fields as well as your own in the future. So hit up the website. The link is in the show notes, and nominate a game, apply to attend, do both. We'd love you to have you there. And we'll be talking more about the conference as we get closer, especially in January when registration goes up and when we have the final list of games that have been accepted. But for now, you can check it out. Everything is up on the website and multiple pages there to learn more about it.
Absolutely. So please do nominate. Please do apply to become a tabletop scholar. And please do come to the conference, because it's a really fun way to learn and be professionally developed, but also at the same time play tabletop games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Anthony. So with that said, let's get on to the episode. Let's talk about PAX Unplugged 2025.
All right. So we had a blast, right? And we just kind of want to talk through a few things that happened at the show. Obviously we saw a lot of games, but before we even dive into that, the first ever in-flight report from Fantasy Flight, and Fantasy Flight has always done this in-flight report event at Gen Con historically, right? With the exception of the year or two of COVID when they did it online. So it was interesting that they decided, hey, let's do this at PAX this year. And there was one of two thoughts that went with that. One, are they not? Do they not have much to talk about? Or two, are they just waiting to be able to announce something that's going to happen later? We weren't really sure, so we got a chance to check this out. It was about an hour long. It was in the main theater, which is really cool, just like having the whole space for this. And so, just really briefly running through like what they announced: Arkham Horror, the card game. They have a bunch of new stuff for that.
LCG.
Yep, yeah, exactly. The card
Gotcha.
game. So a bunch of new investigators, some new decks that are coming there. Just, basically giving the whole rundown of the 2026 release timeline, which is fun, like just knowing what's coming out for the next year. They also talked about Marvel Champions, which is a game I care about and I'm excited to learn more about. So they talked about the upcoming release in December, as well as a couple of releases that were already announced for 2026, Wonder Man and Hercules, and a couple new ones, Daredevil and Echo, and a few more villains coming in Fear No Evil, which is their next like big box type of thing, along with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. So we're getting the Defenders, which is great. Which I'm surprised they hadn't done any of those yet. I was like, I thought I already had a Daredevil deck, but I guess I don't. So we're gonna get the all of the Defenders, including Iron Fist, Elektra, Daredevil, etc. All of that over the course of next year. That's basically the 2026 release slate. They kind of gave a brief overview of a new expansion for the Star Wars deck building game, which is great. They have one small, tiny expansion for it now, which makes it 3-player, which boo. And then they have the standalone expansion for the Clone Wars. So a whole new expansion would be great. I just want more cards in the game. Just do that. So we'll see how that goes. They talked briefly about board games as well. And this is where they announced Cthulhu, Death May Die, and Zombicide were picked up by Fantasy Flight. So we knew that CMON had kind of sold off a lot of their big stuff. And it seems like, hey, they're keeping Zombicide. That's their bread and butter. No, they're not. They sold it to Fantasy Flight. So, yeah, it's now. I don't know that CMON has anything left except the stuff they're fulfilling.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, like so they still have a bunch of stuff they're supposed to fulfill. But the Cthulhu Death May Die Pledge Manager, it says here, is going to be reopened, and Fantasy Flight is handling that. So they've taken that over. They bought out everything there. So I'm still like crossing my fingers that I'm actually going to get my things like Deceased and the DC United, because that's like the last couple things they have that they haven't sold off, and the company's more or less dead at this point. And then they also announced a Squid Game Zombicide expansion.
Sure.
So why not? No, not actually zombies in that game, but sure, why not? So, or that show. And then last but not least, they mentioned a Vault series where they're going to re-release some out of print and hard to find games, but they don't announce any of said games. They also did just a quick run through of like the sets coming next year for Star Wars Unlimited. CCG, it's fun. I play it with my son. I'm not going to get into the details of it here because that's not really our vibe. But that was more or less it. We got a lot of stuff we expected. A couple of little surprises there from the board game side. Yeah, Fantasy Flight doing its thing.
Yeah, the in-flight report was always the big media spectacle in the past at the different conventions. So I was glad to see that it was at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I wish there was more things, but
yes,
I'm glad to see it was there.
It's a weird year. Like normally, something like a Twilight Imperium expansion would be like the highlight. It would be the one last thing of a one in-flight report. Instead, they just kind of dropped it randomly in August.
Yeah,
and then it released in the middle of October. It's a weird company these days. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the thought process is behind all that.
Yeah,
because again, also that typically is that's obviously the biggest. I don't know, maybe from a sales point of view, that's when you would do it.
Yeah.
But from a media excitement perspective, I think one of the things we were talking about as we walked around the convention was there really isn't anything like big anymore. There's not the big announcements or the big games that you have to run out across the convention floor to get and pick up. There's still good games out there, and there's still games that like sell out very quickly.
Right.
But it doesn't have the same vibe that it once did.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what's happened with the video game industry. Like, the video game industry used to be like big AAA releases every year, like 10 of them, right? And now the cost of developing a AAA game in the video game space is so high that it takes 10 or 15 years sometimes for these games. Like Grand Theft Auto 6, they've delayed like 4 times, and when it finally comes out, it will have been 11 or 12 years. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be like a 10 to 15 year wait. So it costs so much money and takes so much time to make the game that we don't get that many of them. But then we get all these smaller indie games, and they're amazing. And those take 2 to 3 years to develop. And so the board game industry has kind of turned into the same thing, where all the big stuff that I was excited about at the show are things coming from smaller and mid-sized companies that are going into crowdfunding or like small releases, updates to existing games. Like there was no like big blockbuster games. And the couple of big blockbuster things that are coming are still small, right? Which we'll get into. Like the biggest release of the show was a very small box game. It was from Asmodee, but it's a small little game. So it's an interesting shift. I know we bemoan it a lot, especially with like crowdfunding culture, but I don't know that it's necessarily bad if we get some variety and some lower price stuff. But it is also weird because we don't get, the Fantasy Flight big box thing just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, there was an article that came out, I think just a day ago, from the Asmodee CEO, and he was talking about because economics, the tough U.S. market has been really challenged. People have been challenged financially, that people are turning towards lower price games.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the challenges with the crowdfunding stuff on top of everything, which is tariffs and then the unpredictability of the market on top of everything else. So,
right.
Yeah, that might be, and again, that also obviously has hurt CMON, right? Because CMON's quite the opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's that's like the perfect way to look at it. It's like, what were the two companies that most personified the 2010s in the early 2020, like the 2010s, I guess, of the board game space? It was Fantasy Flight Games with their big, monstrous Gen Con releases, and then CMON with their big, monstrous Kickstarter releases. Neither of those are still kicking anymore. Like, Fantasy Flight's still there, but they only really have 4 products. Everything else has been sold off. All their miniature stuff is now with Atomic Mass. All their board game stuff is now with wherever. Office Dog and Z-Man and wherever Asmodee's moved it. They have Star Wars and Arkham. And now Zombicide, I guess.
So can we finally say that this is the bubble that burst?
I think it burst. Yeah, like CMON being dead, that's a burst bubble.
Yeah.
Although
Asmodee coming down with smaller and smaller games.
Right, yeah. Like we can get into it too. Like, one of the big things at the show, our next bullet here, is the Lord of the Rings room, right? Like, Asmodee's really been doubling down on the Lord of the Rings IP, but they've not been doing it with like big sprawling epic releases. Like, the biggest game they've released in the last few years is the Pandemic spin, right? Fate of the Fellowship. And that's an $80 game, but it's also a Pandemic clone, right? So there's a lot in the box. It's a great production, but it's not, like it's not War of the Ring 2.0 or 3.0, right? It's Pandemic, but Lord of the Rings. And so 2 years in a row now, the biggest release at PAX has been a Lord of the Rings game. Both times it's been a trick-taking game, right? Last year, the thing everybody wanted, Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship of the Ring, trick-taking game, right? They had 300 copies a day. They sold out very quickly. People were standing in line and fighting over it. This year, same thing with the Two Towers trick-taking game. And I'm sure next year, it'll be Return of the King trick-taking game, right? And part of it, like, I love the fact, like, the synergy there of, like, Lord of the Rings being a Christmas time thing, and there's one every year. That's fun for me. But also, it's just funny that that's the big game of the show. This $25 trick-taking game with this episodic nature, like the kind of thing that would have just been like, oh, we also have this 10 years ago. It would not have been the big release. It would have just been like a thing on the shelf, like, oh, and we also have this. But now it's the thing everybody's trying to get. That's weird to me.
Yeah, I got a chance to go to Asmodee's special media event, and these games won't be coming out until next year. And the short version of it is they're all smaller games.
Right.
They're all quite smaller games. So I think that their production for next year or the next couple of years is reflective in that the I guess what the economic numbers happen to be. So
right,
we're not looking at any big, hard, crunchy Euros or giant games with a lot of plastic miniatures in it. So
yeah, and honestly, most of those big crunchy Euros seem to be pretty much landlocked into GameFound at this point because
sure,
we the consumers absorb all the risk. We could pay the tariffs if they need us to. We could pay the extra shipping if they need us to. And those games are expensive to produce. And yeah, even a Euro that sells 1.5 million, that's still like 20,000 copies. That's not that many copies of a game.
Sure.
So
and again, it's a big shame because obviously people need to play these games because again, they're they're a big expense. And how would you know if a Euro's good? Because Euro really comes down to mechanics.
Yeah.
So if you don't get to play it, how are you going to know if you like it? Like you're taking a rather big risk on a game that like cannot be explained on a Kickstarter or GameFound campaign.
Yeah, I know. And like how many times in the last, I mean, for myself at least, for the last 2 years, have I gotten a Euro based on like the designer or the publisher, and I played it, and I'm like, meh.
Exactly.
Like, how else would I have known that was meh? There's no way to know that was meh. Even Vital Lacerda, his last couple of games have been like, eh.
Yes.
So like the big one on Kickstarter right now, The Great Library, I'm like, I'm going to back this because I really, really like the theme.
Yes.
But I'm a little hesitant now because the last couple games have not lit my life on fire.
Fair.
So I don't know. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah. And like you said, people are not happy about having to pony up a little bit more money after the fact, after paying a lot of money to start with for those games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The shipping situation, the tariff situation, and it's not the company's fault necessarily, but it still sucks.
Yeah. Plus everyone else is financially not doing the best.
Right. Yeah. So, it's not like we're all wealthy and can afford to do this.
No. And as much as we do advocate for tabletop games, and we do, because I think they have so much tremendous value above and beyond just straight entertainment, as we keep talking about endlessly.
Yeah.
It's still somewhat of a luxury, more or less. Yeah. So I can understand the challenges here across the board. So hopefully we could help guide you on some purchases, the best purchases possible, so that it all works out for you all.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So with all that in mind, we did want to talk about a few games that we saw at the show. Some that we picked up, some that we had a chance to play, others that we got demos of. Just things that were hot or interesting or caught our eye at PAX. So on the stuff that was available to purchase side, so this is a list of games that you could actually have bought and that there will be reviews out there of. We have some of these, not all of these. The first one up here is Deckers. Deckers is, I didn't know they had it there, and I saw it over at the Zulu Game Cafe. This is a re-implementation of Renegade. And Renegade was a game by Richard Wilkins, who also known as Ricky Royal, was the YouTuber and owner of the Box of Delights YouTube channel, which most famously, for the 12 of you listening who know what I'm talking about, made the most intricate, thorough, detailed War of the Ring playthrough video series. One that I've watched like 4 times, right? Just amazing. It's the best way to learn War of the Ring if you have like 4 hours to go through all those videos.
Sure.
And so Wilkins, who Jason and I actually had on Every Night is Game Night a couple times on the podcast, developed this game, Renegade, and it's been out of print for a few years. And so they brought it back, Pegasus Spiel did, along with Deep Print, as Deckers. And so in the game, you're hacking into a server's network and defeating its defenses. And so the goal is you need to hack into all 5 servers. It's a cooperative game. It is because Ricky Royal is a solo gamer, best as a solo game. Renegades was fantastic. I really enjoyed it back in the day. This is, by all accounts, not a huge overhaul, but like lots of small tweaks to the rules. So I know lots of people who have the first game who bought the second game, or want to buy the second game. I don't know if you need to or not. I no longer have my original copy of Renegade, so I was happy to see this. I was excited that it was there. I picked it up. And I'll be talking about it in a couple weeks. But that was a fun one. No one knew it was coming out, and then surprise, here it is. They had it at PAX.
Surprise!
Exactly. Next one up here is the expansion for SETI, Space Agencies. This was supposed to ship out in October to everybody. It did not. Everything got delayed due to just the chaotic nature of the world right now. So I asked them, I was in the booth and I asked them, like, when are you shipping this? And they said, well, to people who pre-ordered from us, it'll ship in the middle of December. To everybody else, you'll probably get it in January. So if you're waiting for it, it is coming. But for everybody who is at PAX, or at least like 400 or 500 people at PAX, SETI Space Agencies was available. And now we have a new expansion for SETI, which we've talked about a little bit on the show here, that offers asymmetrical powers. Chris, you and I kind of looked through these because we do have a copy of this. And there are like 10 of them, and they're really interesting. And like they give you a special power, they give you an ability you can use throughout the game, and they also give you asymmetrical starting cash and stuff.
Yeah, this is, and I've talked about this before. This is the expansion I've 100% been looking forward to, and I think they did everything right here, at least for my going through the box. Haven't played it yet, but this is going to make SETI just sing for me.
Yeah, almost certainly we'll be talking about this next week. This is like first on my list to play. So we'll talk about that soon. Next up, we had Sanctuary, which has been talked about a little bit. It is available in some channels, so this wasn't like only at PAX type of thing. People are getting it elsewhere, but Capstone had a bunch of copies, which I believe they said they sold out of, right? So this is the lighter, kind of more tile-based take on Arc Nova from Matthias Vega. And it's, it's Arc Nova, but in a lighter, smaller, more condensed version with like 135 tiles rather than the 6,000 cards. So I'm interested to see how this does, because sometimes you make a lighter version of a popular game and nobody cares. Sometimes you make a lighter version of a popular game and it becomes more popular than the original game. So far the reviews are slightly above middling, like high 7s, but we'll see. We'll see how this one does.
I would say just my appreciation of, again, like, it seems to be different enough, but also I felt a little bit like, considering they just came out with the crowdfunding for the 3D environment, I felt like this was too soon.
Yeah, it was weird timing for sure.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people just spent a lot of money on Arc Nova.
Yeah, it Arc Nova has not, at least at this point, seemed to have cooled down a little bit, so I was really surprised why they went with this for so early.
Yeah, it's weird. But we'll see. I did not get a chance to play it. I saw a quick demo of it. It looks like Arc Nova, but with less cards, which, honestly, I kind of like the idea of, because part of the problem with Arc Nova, we talked about this a million times, is that deck.
Sure.
So I say problem with Arc Nova, knowing it's like the number 3 game on Board Game Geek.
It's the number 3 game on Board Game Geek, yeah.
And everybody says, like, Anthony hates Arc Nova. I'm like, I don't hate Arc Nova. I just don't think it's a perfect game. So we'll see. I would like to try this one out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Next up is a game that I think I vaguely knew it was there, but I didn't really know it was there until Will and Megan were like, we have to go check out Flamecraft Duals. Because they're big Flamecraft fans. So this is a 2-player only take on Flamecraft, but it's not a 2-player version of Flamecraft. So it is in the Flamecraft universe. It has the same artwork. It has the same dragons, but it is a game in which you are placing these little plastic discs on a grid. You're stacking them up, and you're trying to complete various cards based on kind of the combinations of different tokens and colors that you place out. So it's more of a puzzle game. Like, it really reminds me of like a puzzle fighter type of video game almost, because it's an abstract pattern building game.
Yep.
And it doesn't look at all like Flamecraft other than the theme.
Yes.
Visuals. That said, I love how this looks, because this is exactly the kind of game I like. So I did pick up a copy to play with my daughter, who's a big old math nerd and loves Flamecraft and loves dragons. So this is probably a Christmas gift for her. So I'll probably swing back to this in a few weeks once we've had a chance to play it. But it looks very pretty, and it comes in a cool box. The box folds out and creates the board. It has a little latch on it, so it's like a little travel carrying case.
Sure.
The production's amazing. I will let you all know in a few weeks if the game is also amazing.
And it plays solo too.
It does play solo. I don't know how that works, but people seem to like it so far. Like the recommendations and marks on that are good for solo.
Yeah, anything that's a puzzle, I think you could always throw at it.
Yeah, it's probably some combination of like, how do you get the puzzles out there?
Again, like you said, I think you made a really good point there. Like, this is not a 2-player version of Flamecraft.
No.
Please do not do that.
Flamecraft plays fine at 2 players.
Yeah.
Like, that was like when they're like, oh, there's the Duals game. I'm like, what do you need to change about Flamecraft to make it a 2-player game? That's the only way I've ever played it, and it's fine. So it's just a 2-player abstract game that they picked up, and they put the Flamecraft theme on, and I'm fine with that because it's pretty and it's cool, but it's a different game.
Gotcha.
All right, we mentioned the Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers trick-taking game. This is the sequel to the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game, so thematic, character-driven, mission-based trick-taking chapters that represent parts of the book of the Two Towers. We talked about this last year. Like, if you're making Fellowship of the Ring, you have to be making the Two Towers, and they were. And here
we
it is.
Called it.
Yeah, I would have been deeply surprised if they didn't. But
super hot take there, right?
Yeah, I love too. They kept the chaptering, so it's chapters 19 to 36.
Beautiful. Good job.
Yes. So now I'm looking forward to Return of the King, and then also looking forward to like a 2-day marathon of going through all 60 chapters of this. So gonna be fun. So there you go. That we did not get a copy of that. That was like get in line 5 minutes before everything opened and wait for an hour to pick that up, and we didn't have a chance to do that. But
nope,
it comes out in January.
It does.
All right, the next one up here that we do have a copy of that we'll be talking about soon is A Place for All My Books. This is from Smirk and Dagger Games, and we talked with Kurt at Smirk and Dagger Games. He said this has been a huge hit for them. So picked up by various bookstores, Game of the Year awards. They printed like something like close to 100,000 copies of the game. And I ran into multiple people at the con after picking up this copy of the game while it was like under my arm who said that game is great. So it's definitely been a buzzworthy discussion. This is a game in which you play an introverted book collector who recharges by organizing and reading books, and then uses that recharge energy to go out into the world and buy new books. So the core of the game is like the puzzle of organizing the books, but there's also this interesting kind of mechanism of like introversion and recharge and self-care. And just it's very colorful, cozy artwork. Like, you look at the cover and I'm like, this is a cozy game. Whatever that means, that's exactly what this is. And I'm excited to play it.
Yeah, it looks great. I really like the artwork on it. It really kind of gives you that really at-home, warm library, hi-fi girl vibe.
Yeah. It's very cool looking. So this is another one that, again, we do have a copy of. We'll be talking about here in the next couple of weeks. Another game that we picked up, Graft, along with several other new ones from Ivy Studios, including Pillars of Fate. Graft is a game about building out these rows and tableaus of different resources that you then ship. So, but there's rules as you lay them out. We had a chance to play like a brief, kind of abbreviated version of the game, so not in full. It's a drafting game, and then you're building out these tableaus, and then those tableaus, every card you put down creates rules for the following cards you put out. So it sounds more complicated than it is, but it seemed really interesting. I did not get a chance to play it in full, so we don't have a review for you or anything, but we do have a copy in the group, and there should be a review coming either here on the podcast or on the website soon.
Very cool.
Orleans Big Box. I saw several people carrying this big monstrosity under their arm, still in the cardboard carrying box. So I know this has been hard to find outside of Europe, but
sure,
there were copies.
It's good to see. It was a Tasty Minstrel that had this back in the day.
Yeah, it was Tasty Minstrel game. No longer available from them. Now Capstone Games has the license, and you can get everything released over the last 10 years in one big box.
Is Tasty Minstrel Games available anymore? Are they?
No,
they're
bankrupt.
They're gone.
Oh, they're gone. Yeah.
Oh no.
I know. Yeah, we say it funny, but no, they're gone. And thankfully, like a lot of their best games did get picked up by other companies.
Cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Orleans. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good one. Mind Clash Games had like one big new release, Emberheart. This is one they've been promoting online for a bit, and it's shipping to people. So it wasn't like you can't get this anywhere else, and you could tell that because they didn't sell out of it. But it's a game about rescuing and training dragons, rallying heroes, dragon stuff, right? You're fighting off poachers, all that good stuff. This is a game that I saw several people walking around with. A lot of people had been talking about, and like talking to the people at Mind Clash mentioned like this was a very popular game at the show. So despite the fact it was available online, I think people who just were discovering it for the first time were like, "This is cute. This is fun." It's not light, but it's light for Mind Clash, so a little bit more accessible, under 2 hours, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I really like the look of this, and I guess Mind Clash also took the Asmodee memo and we're just like, let's get smaller, just a little bit smaller.
Yeah. They were demoing this and Ironwood, which is another smaller, lighter game. They didn't have really a lot of their big, heavy stuff there. You could buy copies of Voidfall, I think, at the booth, but they were like the retail versions, which is a smaller box.
Sure.
And I didn't see like the big monstrosity boxes of their other games. So Mind Clash is finally lightening up.
What's the other game in that universe that you backed on Kickstarter?
Revenant.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I talked to one of the demoers, and they said that they were supposed to have a copy for preview, and it did not show up.
Ooh.
Like the proof didn't come in. So, boo.
Boo.
Because I wanted to see that. I backed it. I want to see it.
It's true.
Yeah. There was another game from them too that they kind of previewed and had some banners about, which we'll talk about in the upcoming stuff here in a minute.
Sure.
Cozy Stickerville. This is a game that you got a chance to get a peek at in the Asmodee preview.
I did.
This is a new game. This is where we're at as an industry. This is Corey Konieska's new game.
Crazy.
Corey Konieska is the designer of StarCraft the board game, Rune Wars, Mansions of Madness, Star Wars Rebellion, Forbidden Stars, Twilight Imperium 4, along with Christian Peterson. Like big, heavy, sprawling games. And the last like 3 or 4 games from Konieska are like The Initiative, 3000 Scoundrels, The Mandalorian Adventures, and now Stickerville. Lighter, even lighter.
Yeah.
This is a 30-minute game about putting stickers on things, which it might be great. I don't know. It's just like, man, what happened to Corey Konieska?
It is literally physically the lightest game that I've seen, not just of his type, but I think of almost anything, because it's just a bunch of pages and then a bunch of stickers.
Yeah.
Almost doesn't even qualify technically as a game, but it reminded me of Charterstone, building up to SETI a little bit. So yeah, we'll take a look at that at some point.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when it comes out. Like we had like a little preview version we kind of played around with, and it was like, that's interesting, but also, what is this?
It's true. It's a thing. Yeah. That's all I can say about it.
Cooperative, narrative-driven games seem to be his thing right now, which is interesting, and he's doing a lot of interesting things with games, just not the kind of stuff that we're used to. Okay, another one that we talked about with Tom over at Red Raven Games is 6 Sojourns. Now, this is a game that was on crowdfunding, so it's not like new to people, but they did have it for sale for the first time. It's a reimplementation of 8-Minute Empire, which was one of the very first games from Red Raven Games and Ryan Lockett, like a small box little thing. And they took that small box little thing and they turned it into this big sprawling monstrosity box. It's like $200. So it's an area control game. It is still relatively short, like under an hour. But it's a lot bigger, a lot broader, a little more story driven. And you're just trying to build up over time. So didn't get a chance to play it, got a chance to take a look at it and see what it is. And it's got that Ryan Lockett magic. Like it's pretty, got some interesting mechanics to it. It's relatively light considering the size of the box. And
sure.
They did mention they'll have a retail version available soon, right? All they had there was the deluxe edition.
Yes.
And then the last one, which we picked up a copy of and we'll be talking about soon, is Burgle Brothers Blackjack. Now, Burgle Brothers is the cooperative game of stealing stuff that came from Fowers Games many, many years ago. This is a card game, much smaller box, in which you are similarly trying to work together as a group to crack safes while dodging guards, but there's also like a blackjack element to the game. So it's I'm excited to play it. Like, it's an interesting spin on the mechanics of both Blackjack and Burgle Brothers, and it plays on a small table in a little box.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
All right. Cool. So obviously that's not everything that was released at PAX. It's just some of the highlights of what we had a chance to take a look at. We have a few other games that we picked up that we'll be reviewing in the weeks to come, but these are some of the highlights, the things we're excited to talk about. A few other games that were previewed there. So these are games that were not for sale, but that they had previews of, or demos, or prototypes, things that are coming next year. So first up is a game that has been on crowdfunding lately, Cascadia Alpine Lakes. So Flat Out Games had a demo copy of this. This is currently on Kickstarter, so people could back it after getting a chance to demo it. It's basically Cascadia if you could stack things, right? So like the tiles in Cascadia go out, in Alpine Lakes they also go up, because we're in the Alps and there's mountains. Never mind that there's also mountains in Washington in the Cascades, and they could have done the same thing there. But I just love adding a third dimension to the puzzle that is Cascadia. So that's cool. And it was fun to look at.
Very nice.
Another one that we got a chance to take a look at, and actually, ironically, I got confused about this because the demo that was given to me was from Luke Laurie of Andromeda's Edge, but this is not a Luke Laurie game. This is designed by Brad Brooks, Aaron McDonald, and Christian Strain. Whisperwood. This is a game about restoring a forest that's been corrupted with druidic magic. So it's a bag building game, but also like a lot more sprawling in terms of mechanics. So it's got a drafting mechanic, it's got the bag building element, of course, and a whole like tech tree track and everything. Like, it's big and a little more complex than what you'd see in like an Orleans or a game like that. There's a lot of elements going on here, and it's kind of exciting. Like, it looked really cool. Didn't get a chance to like play a round of it or anything, but got a nice demo, got to play around the pieces a little bit, even though it's a prototype. It's listed as 2027. I think they said the crowdfunding campaign will go up in the first or second quarter of next year. But it's also supposed to be like a 3+ hour game. So it's a big one. Another one that they had a full copy of to preview, which I was very excited about, was Slay the Spire Downfall. This is a expansion for Slay the Spire, the board game. So in this one, you get to be the bad guys. You're playing as the slime boss, the guardian, the hexaghost, or the hermit, and trying to defeat Niao, the big whale. And you have to deal with the new bosses that pop up. It's a fun spin on the mechanics. This is based on a fan expansion for Slay the Spire, and it's coming next year. This was crowdfunded as well, and they had the full demo set up. I could not get a seat at the table, but I stood there and watched for a while. So it's all the mechanics you know and love of Slay the Spire, but those miniatures they have for the bosses, like the slime boss in particular, it's like a size of a small peach. Like, it's big. It's cool. Like, it's a big chunky thing. And it's exciting. So like, seeing all that stuff there, knowing that they're that close on pieces, I'm like, great. Excited for this to come out. The Game Makers, which we've talked about in the past, this is a game from Bezier, which is all about making board games, and they've got the licenses to, I don't know, like 100, 200 board games in there.
At least.
They partner with Panda, which is a manufacturer for a lot of major board games, and that's probably how they got a lot of those licenses.
Yeah.
But they had multiple copies at their booth to demo, and people were demoing that game. It is a little light for my liking. It's a Bezier game, so it's not like a big, sprawling, epic Euro or anything, which is still what I want. I want a Euro from Mind Clash about making board games, right? I want something hard and complicated. It seems like a pain in the butt industry to move things through. I want that.
Yeah. 100%. And they talked about that at the booth, where it's just like, everyone's doing their thing at their own time. It's just about fun. It's just throwing stuff out there. And it's kind of got like a toy appeal to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's selling itself a lot on like, you get to make your favorite games. You want to make SETI and Terra Mystica? You can do it. Like, yeah, I mean, that's cool. I think that's cool, but it's also not what I want. But we'll see. Next up, we had back over at the Mind Clash booth. I mentioned this. Voidfall Resurgence. So they had a banner up, new expansion coming in the first quarter. This one is going to have psionics. So
Ooh.
there's a new agenda deck.
Nice.
Psionic agendas,
Which
allow you to harness new reusable abilities that open up new strategies and ways to customize your house. The game is already pretty asymmetrical, so adding new ways to customize the house is awesome. It also allows you to institute new attacks, raise barriers, adjust the fight mechanics, put out vanguards, psionic vanguards to key sectors to kind of help protect things. There's also a bunch of new stuff. There's 6 new houses, 12 new technologies, a new special sector type. So just a bunch of stuff, plus a big new mechanic, which is what I'd expect from Mind Clash. This is already one of the more complex, time-intensive games to learn and teach that I own. Famously, number 1 on my list. And I don't know how much longer it's going to take to learn and play it with a whole layer of expansion on top, but I will 1,000,000% back this on day one.
Whoa.
Even if I look at it and I'm like, I'm never going to play with this because, oh my gosh, it's so much stuff, I will still back it because, come on, it's Voidfall.
It's true. I give you that.
Yeah. Like Revenant. I backed Revenant without reading much about it because I just like the theme and I like the world. And it's more,
Sure.
tool artwork.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah. And this is another great cover from O'Toole.
Love it.
Next up is a fun one that my son pointed out to me when we were walking around. Rematch. Marble Puzzle Fighter. They had a really, really popular booth in the back of the hall, like 4,000 row. And it is a one-on-one arcade fighting game fueled by a marble puzzle system. So think like Potion Explosion, like it's a little like marble dispenser. And then how you pull the marbles out of there, there are 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow. How you pull them out of there is going to determine how you power up your abilities and fight each other in this like arcade style, almost anime-inspired fighter. It is so cool looking. The marbles are super chonky. They're big. And the color scheme is great. The red, yellow, blue is like perfect. It matches the color of like the joysticks at the arcade for like the high, low, medium attacks. It's just got this perfect vibe to it. And again, we circled by this booth 5, 6, 7 times. Like in the 5 hours my son was on the floor with me, we just kept looping around. Like, can we try the game yet? Can we try the game yet? Nope. Still lots of people waiting. It just looks really cool. Keeping, grain of salt there. Did not have a chance to try it myself, but people seemed really hyped about it. The next one up is one I did get a chance to try. This is Mystic Curling Club. This is a game. So if you know curling, right?
I do.
Good.
I curl on a daily basis.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. With stones on ice?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's say I do. Let's say that's
that version of curling, right?
Yeah. That's what I do.
So this is dice curling.
Yeah. I like that even more.
Yeah.
I actually did that at PAX.
You did do that. You played with us for a bit.
I did, but you were way too good, and I felt embarrassed of your curling skills. Which was...
I did like annihilate the person I was playing against. I felt bad.
Yeah, but to be fair, you did bring your own stones from home, which I thought was a little...
true. That's cheating. That's not good.
Jeez, man, those must have been terribly heavy to carry.
I know. Well, my shoulders still hurt. By the way, like legit, they still hurt from Sunday. So this is a game in which you are curling with a D12. So you can slide it down the board on the side that it's on. It basically the dice come off of your player board with a number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you slide it down the board. Or if you're really thinking crazy, you can roll it and it lands on whatever it lands on. Or you can flick it and let it roll a little bit. But it is curling. You are pushing that down, trying to lay it inside the inner rings. You can knock each other's dice out of the way. And then there's special abilities, which let you stack things and knock things out and move them around. I had a ton of fun playing this, even though I didn't get to play like the full rounds.
Yeah.
I almost, in fact, I don't think I've ever once in my life played a game at a game convention and said, I should go back that. This is one where I did.
Whoa!
It is actively on Kickstarter. It's up for like another week, I think, when you listen to this. And I was like, I want this. And like I feel like I could make this, right? It's just I need a handful of D12s and a piece of cardboard.
Sure.
But it was such a cool idea, and I'm like, why has nobody thought of this? Like curling with dice is so perfect. It was a lot of fun.
I 100% agree. When I saw that at a table from a distance, I think I might have even waved you over, take a look at it, and I was just like, oh, like there's just sometimes when you see certain games and you're like, this is so obvious. Oh, it's brilliant.
Right.
I hate this. This is oh, come on. Oh, they did the thing. And I was like, I rolled the die one and then I was just like, all right, fine, I have to talk to people. I can't face this game anymore. This game makes all the sense of the world. So
yeah. And it seems like it could not work. Like you're like, oh, you can't slide a die that far. But I slid all 8 of mine. I didn't roll any of them, and they all slid down where I wanted them to. And I was like, I don't know if they greased the board or what, but it was just like, this is perfect. This is a nice quality board. It's a prototype, but it's nice. So yeah, I will be getting that sometime next year. I'm very excited to play it. I will be making my children play curling with me, a whole bunch.
Very smart idea. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So good on you, Asmati. That's not one I saw coming from you guys. So
no, that was out of left field. That's going to be big.
Yeah. I'm really glad you had to talk to them because otherwise I probably wouldn't have tried that.
Yeah, no, I was like, that looks like a thing. And then we walked over and we just started playing with a little bit. And I was just like, oh, all right, so you roll or you slide. Like, no, there's all these extra things to it, especially with the different dice. It's all different, all the different dice in the collection. I was just like, oh boy. And then you were demonstrating it perfectly and just nailing it. I was just like, okay, so this does work.
Yeah. I got like 3 in a row right in the center ring.
Yeah.
The guy I was playing against actually does real curling, and he's like getting all mad. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
You have more experience with dice. That's what it is.
That's true. I know how to roll a die.
That's right.
Or slide a die in this case.
We learned we do lose our curling sponsorship from that, which is kind of sad, but it's fine.
Yeah, I know. I'll get it back.
Yeah. It's cool. I like it. Again, great idea.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. All right, so we have one more quickly here that we were really interested in, like just as a game, but also in potential as discussion for like board game academics, which we talked about at the top of the show. Flintlock: Global Warfare in 20 Minutes.
Yes.
This is a recreation of the 7 Years' War and French Indian War in a 20-minute 1 to 4 player game. It's a re-implementation of Palomari's Blitzkrieg, which is about World War II. And takes global conflict and boils it down to a 2v2 battle. So always an interesting thing when they were able to pull that off effectively. And Blitzkrieg, a game that's already been out and does it effectively, and Palomari being an amazing designer, I have high confidence in this work.
Yeah, I got to play I would say about halfway through the game, and it was very interesting because I hadn't played Blitzkrieg previously, but I have played Toy Battles. And Toy Battle is very similar to this because basically you have a selection of different units, and there are different battles that take place in the timeline that reflect this particular period. And mostly they are land or sea, and there's some crossover. And then you're playing to different sections of the board, trying to win favor or just conquer and control that area. And it's a lot, and then just other areas open up, and certain areas influence other areas. So it is certainly fast and fun, and it is also very educational. So
yeah,
cool beans.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. A whole bunch of games we saw, played, discussed, purchases, got copies of, etc. From PAX Unplugged this year. Lots of good stuff. And we'll be talking about a bunch of these in the weeks ahead, as well as some other games that we didn't mention this week that we will get to in the weeks ahead that will be on the docket for discussion.
Yeah, there's a lot more PAX stuff that we'll unpack over the next couple of weeks, and we'll certainly be talking about it when we talk about what's coming up next year.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, so that's everything that happened at PAX. Let's get on to our roll for preview.
All right. I mentioned this a little bit already when I was talking about Vital Lacerda. And there's a new game up on Kickstarter. The Great Library. All the knowledge in the world in one place.
Excellent.
So, my issue with Lacerda's games, the last 3 games, has been Weather Machine was too abstract, and his games cannot be abstract. They're too complicated to be abstract, right? You need the theme to hold it together. In Inventions was good, but a little wonky and a little abstract in its own way. And Speakeasy is just not a theme I really am interested in. So the Great Library, I was like, yeah, I love this theme. This is something I've been reading about and studying since I was like 8 years old. I love the ancient world. And I remember reading about and writing about the Great Library of Alexandria in like 3rd and 4th grade. I was obsessed with like the ancient wonders of the world. So having a game that is based on the historical representations of the Great Library, what we know about it, not just the library itself, but like the city of Alexandria, the ships that are coming in and bringing things, the role of the chief librarians in managing the grand halls, the library, but also like the people who come and go from the library, like the students and the scholars and the visiting dignitaries, the languages that are involved, like all those pieces that are so interesting about this particular point in history and this location. I trust nobody else in the world more than Vital Lacerda to like capture all that and get the mechanics into the game. Like, super excited to try this game. It looks pretty, of course. It's Ian O'Toole artwork, and mechanically, like going over the videos and then kind of watching the previews, it all makes sense, which is what I want from a Vital Lacerda game, right? I don't care if there's 40 pages of rules. I just want every rule to make sense in the context of a greater system, right? You play Kanban, which is like a 4.2 weight game, but everything flows because, of course, it flows. It makes sense the order in which things happen when you make a car. You play On Mars, it flows because, of course, you need rockets, and then you launch, and then you go to the planet, and then you have to put things out, and of course, you have to generate resources, and of course, everybody's going to share those resources, right? Everything makes sense in a logical, consistent way in all of his best games. And this really seems to have that, at least from what I can see. I haven't played it, so I can't say for sure. But I will say this is the first game from Lacerda I backed on Kickstarter of the last 3. So I'm very excited for this. I did back it. I'm excited to get it next year. The Great Library. So you can check that out. I think it's up on Kickstarter for like 3 more weeks. Yeah, lots of time to check it out if you're interested.
Once again, a beautiful game. Looks as crunchy as all get out.
Yeah.
So really excited about this. And again, like you said, all the theme, the mechanics, the art, everything has now reconvened perfectly.
Yeah. And it's my favorite cover since On Mars. It's so cool. I love this cover. Like the relief of the muses above the library.
Sure.
It's so good.
It's also another great educational kind of like, you play this and then you're just like, well, what is this what is this library all about?
Right, exactly. I don't think I would ever bring this into a classroom because I'd give everybody a stroke, but it's amazing to look at.
Well, it could be played in a library. Maybe it could be part of a library collection. And they'd be like, libraries are awesome, right? Did you ever know the greatest library of all time?
Yeah, the most wondrous place in the world that eventually burned down. Yeah. As they all do.
Sadly. Yes.
Lots of paper.
Well, Anthony, I have the complete opposite for you here. I have a game that is a party game guy. And the reason why I stopped and wanted to talk about it, because it's currently on Kickstarter. It's currently already just tremendously blew past its funding goal. This is called Employee Disposal Program. A simple, fast, brutal party game for everyone who suffered through office politics, pointless meetings, or nightmarish coworkers. And really the thing that just like grabbed me was the very outrageous, unique artwork. I don't know how to explain it. I looked through the whole campaign trying to figure out more about it. And it really is this distinct artwork from Zayan, an amazing illustrator that has this kind of partial Cthulhu-esque horror vibe to it, but in a corporate The Office kind of feel to it. And basically what it comes down to is it's a fun party game where you are an employee, and just because all office kind of employees and work situations are very much like this, you are trying to protect your sanity while everyone else is attacking it. So if you've ever worked some of those jobs and you know what those jobs are, that's the situation. So at the start of the game, you get 2 sanity cards. and then a bunch of other cards that are employee disposal cards, because your bosses, your fellow employees are trying to get your sanity gone and knock you out of the game. So there are attack cards, and it's all very fun, interesting, kind of like office dynamics. Again, it is very kind of like horror-ific, Cthulhu-esque, corporate American kind of way, I guess, is probably the weirdest way I could kind of put it together. And as the people throwing attack cards at your 2 sanity cards, you have an opportunity to block them. You have an opportunity for defense. There are special ability cards that can help you. And it just seems to be like a lot of fun and just something different as far as the party games concerned. Like, this is certainly a game you can play at the office. Obviously, check with HR first, because it may not be HR friendly. Because again, a lot of these cards are very like somewhat inflammatory, like corporate bootlicker, blame the intern. So again, a really interesting, fun game to take a look at. Currently on Kickstarter, if you're interested. Employee Disposal Program. This campaign will back on Monday, December 8th, 2025.
I do love me a good, very blatant, not so subtle satire of how messed up our corporate culture is.
And isn't that artwork outrageous, though? Like, there's just something about it. It just really...
It's like early 70s, kind of slimy.
I thought so, too. There's something about, like, it tries to take those kind of, like, corporation is family, American-esque, like, essential worker idea, and just to show the truth about it all.
Right, yeah. It's like, this is what the posters looked like, style-wise, but this is what's actually going on in the workplace.
Do you remember, I don't know if it was the 90s or the 2000s, where they used to have those inspirational, tacky posters, like Believe and Synergy, and like, and then later they came out with like the subversive, jokey ones that came out after it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's if you see one of those styles now, it's probably a joke, because
it's true. This is coming from a first-time designer. We always like to support first-time designers and publishers out there. Relatively inexpensive, about $33 US. Your prices will differ based upon your region. All right, Anthony, that's all the games that we were rolling for preview. Let's roll for review.
All right. Yeah, so we talked already about a lot of games that we demoed, we tried out, we played a little bit. Those are all games that we didn't necessarily play like 100% full games of, so we're not going to like do formal reviews of those just yet, in the weeks ahead for sure. But a game we did get to play fully at PAX Unplugged, up in the first look section, greatest part of the convention for sure, along with Will and Megan, is CakoZaurus. Yes, CakoZaurus. This is a game from Blue Orange, designed by Maxime Rambourg and Theo Riviera. And Theo Riviera is famously the designer of Sea Salt and Paper, one of Chris's favorite games, as well as Draftosaurus and The Loop and Unlock and Nagaraja and a million other things. So a lot of fun there, just getting a chance to play like basically a children's game by a well-known French designer. So we have this game. So we'll run through it real quick. Very basic. It's a 1.0 on Board Game Geek. It is a game in which you are trying to complete these different recipes and save them, essentially, before the CakoZaurus eats all the cakes.
It does happen.
Yeah, it does eat them. You have a little tower in the center of the board. You're going to take a scoop of cakes out of a bag every round. You're going to dump it into the tower, and it's going to spray them all over the board and also on the table, and you have to move them back onto the board because gravity.
Yep.
And each of the 6 sections will then have some cakes on it of different colors. The red ones are spicy for some reason, and the rest are whatever. They're just different colors. The clear one is wild. You have cards at each of the sections with a combination of different cakes that you need. And on your turn, it's cooperative, by the way. On your turn, you can move a cake from one space to another. And then you can, or you can, take all the cakes from one location and dump them back in. And you're trying to match the cards that are there. You can complete as many cards as you want on your turn, but you can only move the one cake. The CakoZaurus is then going to move. You roll the die, they move. And then you take all the cakes in that location and you dump them in the giant gaping mouth of this ridiculous Slimer-looking monster. And that guy is balanced precariously on a very tiny little flat spot on his butt. And if at any point in time he falls over and the cubes fall out of his mouth, the game is over. So the game also mentions the game can end if you run out of cards in the deck. I don't see how that's ever going to happen. Literally ever, because the few times we played, we did not get nearly close enough. I think the best we did was we got to 7 or 8 completed recipes, and like to quote unquote beat the game, you need 16. But it's very wobbly, and so if nobody touches the table and everybody's great, even then, just the act of moving him and then throwing a cube in there, he just falls over. So tons of luck involved. However, the game takes 10 to 15 minutes. The artwork's very cute. It's got a fun central mechanism. It's not a complete throwaway, especially if you're playing with like small children. I don't know if you could make the guy a little less wobbly, but you can't as he's built. So it is what it is. It's a very soft play with families, with children. I think it's fun. It's cute. It's quick. It's not going to make them mad. I certainly wouldn't play with adults again. But we had fun kind of yelling at the thing.
We did. And Anthony had said to me, we were looking at the gigantic, and I mean gigantic, airplane hangar of the first look section. And he was like, find me a game. And I was like, what game though? And you were like, I need designers with the best pedigrees possible. And I was like, I found 2 designers, best pedigree possible, and they've created a game. And we played it. And it turned out to be CakoZaurus. So like, all of those things happened.
All those things are happening. That's true. Those are all facts and things that actually happened.
It did. And I picked the game out. We did play it. I think we got knocked out super fast the first time. And then the second time we scored a lot of points as we got to it. But it is certainly a kid's game from Blue Orange. It is as durable as all get out. The production is great. The artwork is great. And again, it's a kid's game. So I agree with you, Anthony. It's a soft play. And I guess, again, the CakoZaurus toppling over is the main dexterity component of the game that you have to kind of deal with, whereas the contract completion is something that just kind of works a little bit. But
it just happens.
It just happens. You have to move a couple. You got a chance to move a couple things around, but really the CakoZaurus is the most dangerous part of this game.
Yeah, it's cute. Like, my kids are a little old for games like this now, which I think this is the first. Just getting into dad talk for a minute. I think this is the first time where I was like kind of sad about that.
Aww.
I mean, I have those moments where I'm like, oh, my kids are getting older. You know, like, especially my youngest is getting, like, she's about to start middle school next year, and I'm like, not ready for that.
Sure.
But I was just like, oh, this is a cute game. My kids would. No, they wouldn't actually.
Oh no.
Like those moments, like for many, many years, I play a new Haba game. Like, this is perfect for the kids, and this is like one of the first times where I'm like, huh, no, I don't have anybody to play this with, but it is cute.
It is very cute. It certainly fits kids. And it is not a game that's good enough to transfer over to like fun for adults too.
Right. Like sometimes you look at a dexterity game and you're like Rhino Hero. I would play that with anybody. That's a great game.
Yes.
But it's a kid's game. But I don't care because it's fun. This is not that. But
it's true.
It's a good kid's game.
It's a very cute kid's game. So check it out. All right. Well, one more game here that we want to talk about. Something I got a chance to play. This is Star Trek Lower Decks. Buffer Time, the card game, which has got to be one of the longest names for it.
That's a lot of words, yeah.
Especially considering how small this game is. It's a tiny little box with basically like 2 decks of cards. So I get it. Like, they had to have Star Trek in there. Mm-hmm. They had to have Lower Decks.
Right.
Buffer Time is really the name of the game.
Naturally.
Why they needed to say the card game as if there's going to be a dice game or miniatures game afterwards, I do not know.
Also, the size of the box, pretty clear it's a card game.
100%. Like, there's no way to... You can't. It would be almost nearly impossible to make that a board game, too. But, all right. This is more or less a filler game. Yeah. This is from Motivius. Forgive my voice at the moment. They're best known for their RPGs. They do RPGs, Star Trek Adventures, but they also do board games as well. They have a lot of big crunchy games that if you want to play with miniatures, so Doom, and a lot of other kind of fun stuff in that realm. So it's a pretty unique company. They have a lot of just like stuff all over the place where, again, you probably don't know them if you're US based, but again, great sci-fi and fantasy RPGs. Star Trek is coming back a little bit. Fallout stuff is here as well. So I think that most people could go there for that, or Skyrim or something else of that nature. But I went there because I love Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Lower Decks is awesome. If you have not watched Lower Decks and you are any kind of either cartoon, animation, sci-fi fan, that's certainly the show for you. You don't really need to know Star Trek to enjoy Lower Decks. That being said, this card game is a very quick, I would say 15-minute press your luck game, and it is a filler. It is the definition of filler. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to cooperatively complete assignments, and on the cards is a big number that shows you the work that's needed to complete the assignments, and then the buffer time bonus that you get on certain cards. Certain cards have only work, some have work and buffer time. Obviously, you want to get buffer time because that's your points in the game. And then depending on the number of people, you're going to have to complete a number of different, I guess we'll talk, just say generally here, overall assignments. But assignments are not the only thing that comes into play here, because in your hand, you'll also have side projects, which are easier assignments that you can complete and have a lower threshold of points, but also do have a lower threshold of, well, generally at least, a lower threshold of actually buffer points. In order to ruin your day a little bit, you'll be playing cards from a shift deck. The shift deck has cards from your team that range anywhere from 1 to 5. So let's say you have a work requirement of 8. You obviously need to get up to 8 to be able to put that into your scoring area. What ruins your day above and beyond is there will be upper decks. There'll be the command crew, and when those cards come out, it gives you an opportunity to bust. So if you get 4 command symbols that you're basically pulling out from a deck, that's going to ruin your day. So how you kind of work to fix that a little bit is that there'll be also ability cards that will give you certain benefits, help you out along the way. But basically the game is playing through the deck, having a couple of laughs, looking at the colorful artwork. And yeah, it's a very light filler game. It's a definition of that. I guess if you're playing the role-playing games of the Star Trek universe and you have 2 to 6 players playing that role-play game and you're like, hey, you want to do something for 5 minutes? Yeah, we could kind of throw this in here and play it super quick. Not complex at all. 1.5 weight on Board Game Geek. And again, this game, I'm going to say, is almost only for Star Trek Lower Deck fans, because there really isn't much to the actual gameplay mechanics, because basically you're flipping cards over and trying to mitigate it with cards from your hand. The larger player counts that you have, the more mitigating cards you could play. The smaller player count, the more challenging it happens to be, because again, less cards to mitigate. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little game. I would say it's a light play if you're looking for a filler and you're an absolutely big Lower Deck fan. If you're not a big Lower Deck fan and you're not looking for a super light filler game, then this game's not for you. But I don't think it was ever meant for you, because again, super fan, light deck filler, and again, you have to get the stuff here. But the show itself is for everybody. This game is only for Lower Deck fans.
Yeah, that's what I would have figured based on what I saw. So I'm not surprised. But hey, I'm a Lower Decks fan, and I don't mind filler sometimes. So
yeah,
I'll try this out.
It's got some cute references from the show, so I think it's something that you might like to play, once or twice, or again, keep it with your role playing books, and then just pull it out and let's play a little bit. All right, everyone. So that's everything for this time. Until next time, this is Chris,
and this is Anthony,
and we'll save you all a seat at the table. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Hi there, I'm Hugh from Poderation. If you like today's show, why not check out Dungeons and Dragonfruits, the bizarre, strange, and queer in every sense of the word D&D podcast. Join 5 friends as they laugh, learn, and adventure their way through the weird, wonderful world of Widdershins, where dragons hatch from trees and have adventures of all forms in every shape and size. Available wherever you can get your podcasts.